How is it going? For those coming back to visit us here at the Animanga Society, we are getting ready to start this new chapter of Naruto that we're gonna really add on. So you have me, Jim Bob Joe the Third here, followed by Jay Z
Yo, yo, yo.
and the logo.
What up?
Thank you for coming back to listen to us. I would like to start off by saying I want to thank our sponsor, Hopes and Dreams, because all of our hopes and dreams are what's keeping us here and bringing you back to us. Thanks, sponsor. Thanks, Hopes and
Oh
Dreams.
my god.
Hey, look, they're great. Our sponsor's great. They give us all kinds of free things like motivation and depression. But anyway.
Well, that's one hell of a start to the next episode, but okay.
Yeah.
So we need to start this off with the beginning of this section being Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata are back in the village.
Well,
And
did
they
we
have...
talk about what episode we're doing?
Yes. We are
I did not
continuing
hear.
our Naruto episode. We are continuing.
Yeah, we left off after the Land of Waves. We are now starting into the Chunin exams.
So with the start of this section, Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke are back within the village, and they have a little bit of a run-in with some sand ninja who we haven't run into before. They're continuing to wait for Kakashi, and at their normal issue with this, Kakashi's late.
As per usual in this show.
Yeah, absolutely. Hinata actually has a moment where she actually kind of starts to lose her cool, complaining about Kakashi's...
Hinata,
late.
or you mean
Or sorry,
Sakura?
Sakura. Yes, I apologize.
If
I am-
only it
we
was
have not-
Hinata instead.
Right.
I know.
But Sasuke, Hinata, and Naruto are waiting. Hinata is actually... Or, damn it. Sakura is actually starting to... All their names sound so damn similar at the tail end. But they're waiting, and they have this run-in with the Stand Ninja, who we find are Kankuro and Tamari. This is a little bit different because Naruto is with Konohamaru as well. And
Freaking love Konohamaru.
Honored
He's just-
grandson.
yeah, the honorable grandson.
he cracks me up, bro.
In the very beginning, when they're getting ready to have their Land of Waves mission issued to them, when Squad 7 is there, and Konohamaru comes out to attack the third Hokage. Great. Absolutely great.
Mm-hmm.
The run-in with Kankuro and Tamari is a little bit of a moment for confusion for our group, for Squad 7, because they didn't know that the Chunin exams were happening or where they were happening. So this is your first introduction to other ninja coming into the Leaf Village and going to be going through this. Sasuke and Gaara end up having like a stare-off at this point because Gaara is now intrigued by Sasuke and the fact that he held his cool against Gaara, like he didn't really get freaked out or scared, which is very unusual for him.
I just recently found out that Gaara is voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, which granted, I am wearing a
Liam?
Critical Role shirt right now, and I had no idea it was him until I
Is it Liam?
went to rewatch it. It's Liam O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's Travis Willingham,
I know.
Well,
who
I
is
mean, it's
who
your
is
shirt.
another character in Naruto. Yeah, I have a Strong Jaw Ale shirt on right now. But yeah, I was rewatching Shippuden and I heard Gaara's voice. I'm like, why does that sound so familiar? And I looked it
So
up. I'm
good.
like, oh my god!
I love Liam's
That whole
voice.
group does so many voices across so
Oh.
many different platforms.
Dude, it's insane.
I mean, really, what Critical Role is a group of voice actors who just so happen to love D&D. I did just see going into another hobby of ours that we do outside of the pod is Matthew Lillard, Patton Oswalt, a bunch of like big name comedians and nerds all were playing together recently. I need to find a way to watch that whole interaction.
Isn't that like the Legends of Avalon or something like
I
that?
think so. I think you could be right on that,
I
but I
follow-
need to look.
I follow them because I've seen them in their stuff. Dude, they're hilarious. They have like Torbeck and a couple others.
Matthew Lillard
Yeah.
actually has. I don't know if he is an owner or if he's like an investor or what stage he's in for the Grimm what is it, Brothers Grimm, or it's like a board game company.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking
Because
about.
he had input or created a board game of his own, which I would really like to play because I love Matthew Lillard.
Agreed.
We
But
all
getting
do.
back to it, when you leave this little encounter with the Sand Ninja and Squad 7, you see Kurenai, Kakashi, and
Asuma.
Asuma. Dude, there's so many names that we're going to go through, which this is also really your first interaction with Asuma as well. You really haven't
Again, one of
seen-
my favorite characters in this entire show.
Absolutely love Asuma.
Asuma is a badass. I actually really enjoyed playing him in the Naruto games. He is super strong in the Naruto games.
Oh God, yes.
Do you know he's actually one of the like protectors of the what is it? The Emperor? Not the Emperor. Like the Feudal Lord. Feudal Lord. That's what they're called. So
Oh,
like,
really?
he's like one of the most elite fighters in all of the Land of Fire.
That's talked about a lot later.
yeah.
And I think it's talked about in Shippuden, not
Right.
necessarily this Naruto, because if you notice, Nick, when you go to rewatch it, he has a flag kind of that he wears around his waist that nobody else has.
Oh, so it's kind of similar to how like it's an identifiable marking,
Yes.
like the Anbu masks or the tracking ninja masks and
Correct.
stuff like that. So it's just like a symbol, it's like a status symbol.
Yes, but
Okay.
he is like I think he's one of 6 or 10. I can't remember exactly, but we can always look that up at a later date when we get to that point.
Okay. During this meeting with the 3 Jonin, which Kurenai is actually a relatively new Jonin, which they bring up. They also run into the moment where they're talking about the Chunin exams after we learn that they're happening from the Sand Ninja, and all of their squads get nominated to take the Chunin exams, which is what the third Hokage wants to ask them about. So with that, all the squads that we are going to run into, which is Squad 7, and I can't remember the numbers, but Ina Shikacho.
13, I think.
Yeah, Ina Shikacho and Kiba, Shino, and Hinata all are going to be taking the Chunin exams. Once we move on from that, you go into our first actual thing that's super interesting about this episode that really starts to work on you is Squad 7 shows up to take the first exam, the written exam, and everyone is denied access to the room. Everyone knows that they're supposed to show up to room 101 and they're supposed to show up at a certain time, and if they miss it, they don't get to take the exams. And there's 2 Chunin that are already there who are refusing to let them through. That's when Naruto, Sasuke, and damn it, I'm gonna do it again. Sakura all look. I'm gonna have a problem with this today. I don't know why I can't get them straight, but look, we're just gonna pull a Uno reverse. From now on, every time I say Hinata, it's Sakura. That's just the way it goes.
Until you say Hinata to be Hinata.
There you go.
Yeah, so Team 8 is what you were talking about here. I just pulled it up so we know.
Yeah.
Team 8 is Kiba, Hinata, and Shino. Team 10 is Team Asuma, which I believe is
Ina Shikacho.
Ino
yep,
Shikacho.
Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji. And Team Guy is Rock Lee, Ten, and Neji.
Which, as you come to find out, is Hinata, coincidentally enough's brother.
Nope,
Nope.
that's
Cousin.
wrong.
They're cousins.
Cousin.
Yeah, they're cousins.
Their fathers were brothers.
They're in the same clan. Neji will explain it later how their
Again,
clan
that comes into
structure
play.
works.
That comes into play a lot in Shippuden, but right now we know she calls him her sibling, but they're not siblings.
Correct.
I mean, it comes up real big in the third exam.
Yeah, it does.
Which, I mean, you have to figure though they really were more raised as like a brother and sister type of environment because
Neji's dad was dead.
Well, look, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We
We really need to start these episodes off. We're like, there's going to be some spoilers for later on in these shows if you have not watched them. we do that a lot. Like, oh yeah, this part happens in Shippuden. Oh shit, we shouldn't have said that.
No, you find that out like in Chunin exams.
Yeah, but they're finding out
Yeah.
about it, but then the spoiler kind of just happened.
Whatever.
But in
Here's the
moving
thing:
past
Naruto
that-
has been out. Naruto has been around since 2000, or at least in the United States, I believe, since 2002. If you are watching anime and have not watched Naruto yet, what's wrong with you?
Also,
Correct.
Neji's dad being dead is a very minor spoiler.
It is, but it's a very major plot line later
yeah.
on.
Yeah. But as we go through this, Sasuke actually brings it up that every single one of the people there should have realized that there was a genjutsu being played there, which he looks at Sakura and says that she should have been the first one to notice, which
Right.
she really didn't, not at first. And then after a second, she kind of figured it out, which goes to show how much she like has the ability to use her like genjutsu, chakra mastery to get those observations.
Right, but this is where you also realize, like, her parents aren't even ninjas.
Nope.
All she knows is from the Ninja Academy or Kakashi. So, like,
Correct.
she needs a proper teacher. She
Yeah,
could be
she-
so much strong. She's already gets really strong, but she could be so much stronger, so much faster.
Well,
with
that's
proper training.
not to not spoil as much as possible. Her next instructor, I think, was the best person that could have taught her.
I think it's the second best person that could have taught her. I think the best person that could have taught her is Kurenai. Kurenai is the best. She is the best genjutsu master without a dojutsu, basically, in the world.
Correct,
more or
but-
less.
I think the other instructor really gave her the physical attributes that she was missing, because she just was, as you see in many points, she was relatively useless on the battlefield, other than either distraction or, like, kind of just being the support.
Yeah,
she wasn't
but
the main.
You're talking
you-
Hinata,
could you-
right?
No.
No, Sakura.
Oh yes.
Sakura.
But could you
So,
imagine
no-
her putting someone into a genjutsu and then Naruto or Sasuke just destroying them?
Correct. That would have been incredible, but I feel like the different physical changes that she ends up making really benefit her.
Yeah,
a
but
lot.
that basically just makes the team 3 attackers. You don't need 3 attackers. I mean, she's a healer too. She's one of the best. But
I
still.
mean, Jay-Z, to be fair, we've watched 11 strikers take on 11 strikers, and
we'll talk about that in the next one.
I'm so excited.
I'm gonna get some hate for this. Soccer's dumb.
I agree, but it makes for a good anime somehow.
Oh my god.
Whatever.
We go into that first, which, dude, I did not expect the way that they were going to run the written exam, because who would think that that's the way that they're running about it? Because all the, you have the instructor who shows up, who really, they tell you,
Ibiki Marino.
Yeah,
Dr. Ibiki Marino.
Ibiki he's really cool.
He is a badass character, and again,
Yeah.
you see him a lot more in Shippuden and what he can really do. He's a scary man.
He is a
well,
scary-
he is the master of
he is-
psychological torture.
Yes.
He
like,
literally
you
is meant to
see
play
it-
with your brain.
You see it in this, like, very early on, but going through and watching Shippuden, when we get to that point, he's a freaky dude, and I love it. Like
Like,
he
just a
is,
masochist. Like,
Yeah.
that's
He's
incredible.
awesome,
Because
though.
that was actually something I was a little worried about whenever they started explaining, when Kakashi started kind of explaining him as a person of, basically he's like in the CIA, like the modern day CIA type of deal, and he is meant for negotiations and like information retrieval.
Interrogations.
Yeah, interrogations, yeah. Like, so he ultimately was the perfect psychological person for this exam, in telling them that really they are going to be watched for if they're cheating, but they don't really tell you that you're going to get kicked out immediately for it. They just say that they're going to be watching for it, which Sasuke picks up on, thankfully. Naruto is completely oblivious. Because there's all the other proctors that are in the room, and they're...
The way Naruto passes the test is my favorite way. It's so
So-
Naruto.
So going over this test though, the test, and I've watched the show a million times. I just have to read through some of it to remember exactly
The
what's
questions
going
are
on.
supposed to be way beyond their ability.
questions are way
they
beyond
are
their
not
level.
meant to pass it.
There's
They are not
one
meant to
person
pass
in
it.
that entire room who has every single answer to it, and they're all trying to find that person. They don't know it though. But the thing is with this, it's not a test on like cheating and stuff like that. It's on information gathering and doing it secretly. Like that's the coolest thing. When I rewatched this show again and went back through that, I thought that was hands down one of the smartest things I've ever seen in a show happen, especially from Ibiki, because he puts it into them. If we catch you cheating, you're out. If I feel you're doing something wrong, you're out. And it's
the thing that makes it funny is like you're not meant to pass the test. So Naruto passes because he doesn't cheat. He just basically sits there and freaks out.
Yep. Which he was going to leave, because at the end of the exam they say that there's a bonus question and you can either answer the bonus question, and if you how did he word this, if you get the question wrong,
your entire team fails and you can't retake
fails.
the Chunin exams, period. Where like if they raised their hand and left in the middle of the exam, they could retake it next year. But the final question was they can't come back in. And again, if I'm remembering this right, they cannot retake the Chunin exams, period, if they leave.
Yes.
Or if they don't answer it
their
properly.
whole squad can't take it. Not just them, their whole squad can't take it.
Exactly.
So that is where Naruto really starts to kind of freak out a little bit. But he raises his hand and then he slams it down and refuses to leave.
Because even Sakura is looking at him and she's like, just say it, Naruto. Like it's okay. Just
no one's gonna
bow
blame
out.
you.
We'll take it next year. Don't worry.
I love how they everybody's talking to each other through this whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there's also
especially
like
because
Hinata openly is like, here,
She's
like you
here,
can
cheat,
copy
cheat.
off my test.
yeah. So let's go through some of the best ways of them cheating, and I say that in quotations because, like, again, this is about information gathering, not necessarily cheating.
It number one's easily the Byakugan.
Byakugan.
Well, yeah, the Byakugan gave him that. I'll be honest, my favorite was Kankuro.
With the mirrors on the wall or on the ceiling, was that him?
No,
Oh no, that was
Kankuro.
Tenten.
Yeah, Tenten used the mirror on the ceiling. Kankuro.
Oh,
had
didn't you
a
replace?
He had a fake proctor as
that's
a puppet.
right. That's
that
right.
he went to the bathroom and had the answers like on a slip that what's it, Tamari got to him somehow or
Yeah.
something, and
I
he
think.
pulled the answers off that because Gaara used the sand to create an eye that he was watching.
Yep. I still think
That
my
one was good,
favorites is Shino still, to where Shino got like a bug that would come back to him and give him the answers from other
Yeah.
Just a little ass ant
Shino-
just like tapping
Shino's
on the
just
desk.
Broken. We say it every time. Shino's broken.
Shino's
Shino's
absolutely broken.
amazing.
We know about Sasuke with his Sharingan following the pencil.
Yep.
Like he was following the way that the eraser moved, which I think is actually pretty cool. Like that's a strategy that I would have never really thought of, but you know that's a really cool thing too.
Sakura took the test.
She just took the
she?
test. She's her and Naruto, I think, are the only two who didn't actually gather or look for any information, because Naruto didn't answer a single damn question.
And
No,
she's
but
just smart.
Sakura's just smart, so she answered them and was, I think, trying to figure out a way to get them to Naruto, but couldn't think of anything. Because at this point, she's still, and I hate saying it this way because she is a great character even early on,
She
in
grows.
my opinion.
She grows so much.
She's still pretty useless at this point.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. She's a great character, but yeah, she's just so useless in the beginning
She's
of the
not
show.
great yet.
She's not great yet, but she does get really, really good later.
Yeah, she does. So once we go through that, you get that last bonus question that he offers up. You know, basically it's your last chance to bow out and not screw over your team, essentially, is what they offer it as. But the whole point of that bonus question was, are you willing to stand by your teammates even in the face of basically death? That was essentially the final bit, was the squad can't survive without everybody being present.
Right. It's more or less death if you want to be a ninja, because unless you become a rogue ninja, that's the only That's the only way to do it, really. Unless you want to stay
Which-
a Genin forever.
So
Which
Naruto
that-
just
Naruto
be
does
willing
test-
to. Go ahead.
Yeah, that ending of the test though, I feel is very similar to like Kakashi's bell test,
Mm-hmm.
where the squad has to stick together. Everyone needs to be strong and on the same page.
Right.
Sorry, that's the end of the thought. It just genuinely, that's how I feel about it. Like I
Yeah.
know I probably could have more to say to that, but I really don't. It's just like that's just a very similar tactic of like, hey, if we don't feed him, he's going to be hungry later on and be useless to us.
Yep.
If one of us doesn't feel strong enough to answer this question, the whole squad's not going to stay strong. It's like the saying, this chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Correct.
Or
But
the
that's
chain
what-
is never stronger, something like that.
But
Yeah.
this is where we run into the fact that there was no final question. It was just to see if you if you were willing to stand in the face of danger, and everybody who stays passes, regardless of what happens.
Yeah, regardless if they answered a single question
Well,
on the test or anything.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, Ibiki gets mad that Naruto passed without answering a single thing.
He does. He's like, this is the first person I've ever passed without answering a single question.
But the thing is, though, you hear him, like, you hear the disappointment in his voice in himself, but he's also like, that kid, he's, like, impressed at the same time.
That
He's
he's so like dumb, but he was still like, I'm gonna stay. I'm not afraid.
Exactly. He's willing to face death, even if he's not the brightest character. And again, even later on in the show, when he becomes really, really freaking strong and really good and a good... he's not a great strategist, but he's a good strategist.
He's kind of a genius fighter and he's a genius about ninjutsus and stuff too, but like still real world applications and stuff. No.
Yeah, he's not doing the trajectory of the kunai going to this tree at a 45-degree angle is going to give me this amount of lift to do this. He's just like, I'm just going to aim at this spot in the tree and hope it sticks.
He's like, no, I'm going to throw 30 of them. One of them will hit.
I'm going to roll a d20 and hope it sticks.
That's awesome. So moving on from that, we run into right at the end of the first exam. Out of nowhere, Anko just busts through the window.
I love Anko.
Anko's the best.
It's like, God, she's early again. So she ends up pulling
it was
everybody.
like just as he said, like, you all passed.
Yep,
And
Anko
Sakura gets so mad because she did all the work for the exam. She's like, it meant nothing.
Oh yeah.
And then Anko busts in out of nowhere.
That was a pretty good Sakura voice there.
Shut up. I don't know if I should be proud of that or embarrassed by that one.
I mean, you were attempting to imitate her, so I guess proud.
You guys also know that I'm fairly decent with voices too once in a while, so...
The second exam is with Anko, which is actually a survival exam, which I think is like one of my favorite parts of this.
It's my least favorite because it just feels like it drags, honestly.
It
There's some really
does.
cool stuff in it. Really cool stuff, but it kind of drags.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like really cool story stuff that we're about to get into. Which
Oh, yeah.
The exam itself is each team is given either a heaven or an earth scroll, and your team is supposed to collect both scrolls. So you have to combat the other teams or steal them. She says that you, by any means necessary, you need to get another scroll, and if your team doesn't collect one, then you're eliminated. There is a lot of drown.
Before this part started, I think even before the first exam, we did meet a character that comes into play significantly in this.
Oh, Kabuto?
Yes.
Yes, that happens right
Yes, we
before the
meet
first exam.
Kabuto with his cards of
cards.
people that he knew everybody's stats and stuff.
Ninja info cards.
Yeah,
Love
ninja
it.
info cards. There we go. We don't know who he is at this point, other than he has a he has a hidden leaf headband on, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think at this point, I can't remember if somebody says it or not, but like he's just a medical ninjutsu specialist. That's like all we know about him. I think.
Yeah. He came from the medical
Anyway.
corps because his
Yeah, that's right,
father
medical
is
corps.
like a really big name medical ninja in the Leaf Village.
Mm-hmm.
But after all that, we end up getting in front of the forest where they're going to
The
be
Forest
taking this,
of Death.
Forest
Yes.
of Death.
where they're going to be taking the second exam, and you run into a kind of creepy character who walks up, sticking their tongue out really far, just acting creepy from the Sound Village.
And they're female.
Yes. We will later find out that this character is just absolutely nuts. And we see as the doors open, everyone runs in. They only have 3 days to get this figured out. Or is it a week?
I think so. It does not say in the article that I'm looking at right now. But I believe they have a couple of days. Yeah, I think it's only a few days, like between 2 to 4 days to complete it. And again, anybody who listens to this can fact check us. We're just drawing a blank right now.
One of these characters, or one of the Team 7 characters' brothers, and one of the Team Character 7's fathers are the 2 fastest to ever get through the Forest of Death.
Which the team from the Hidden Sand, as in Gaara, Tamari, and Kankuro, they actually destroy the record of it because they finish it in like 36 minutes or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, because Gaara is just going to take a scroll and they're just going to keep walking.
Exactly, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. Even though we don't see it, we just see them like go in and finish because they don't rush in like everybody else does. They just walk.
Yeah.
Like
They
that's
just-
that's a freaky part at the beginning of the show with them is like you barely know who these people are and they're already freaking people out by just walking.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Which, when you look at it, though, Kankuro and Tamari are afraid of Gaara. They know they can't deal with him if he gets out of hand.
Oh yeah.
So,
And they're
They-
not weak by any means.
no.
God no.
So they end up shattering the record, and then you see Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke really struggling with this. Like they don't want to really go attack the first people that they find. They don't understand really what way that they need to go. Then they get separated because of a snake. The snake comes and eats Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
Which then we run into that female character again. This is where stuff for this episode starts to just get absolutely bananas because with this whole fight that happens, you can definitely tell that they are controlling and summoning the snake that just ate Naruto. Really. You also run into the moment where Sasuke is pinned against a tree and gets bitten in the neck, and you start to see like this black, like, I don't know how you would put that, like not necessarily a rash, but like, you know,
It's a curse.
yeah, it's a curse,
mark.
but I know, but from an outside perspective, you wouldn't know immediately, like, oh my God, it's a curse mark, you know.
He leaves this symbol on him after biting him, which
It's very reminiscent of the Sharingan, just to put it out there.
yes, it is. So like he gets the curse mark on his neck from Orochimaru biting him, but before
You don't know it's Orochimaru
that,
yet.
oh well, whoops. Rip. Actually, yeah, we do.
No, you don't. Not yet.
No, we don't.
You don't
Okay.
know that yet. You find out after Anko realizes, thinking back, because Anko's teacher was Orochimaru. So she runs it. She was actually tested on by Orochimaru.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
during
I'm reading
this
it
fight,
here. I got ahead. I'm sorry. This
You're fine.
has
You're
his
good.
name in it, so that's where I screwed up.
it's fine because during this time, Anko starts to have almost like flashbacks, thinking about the female that they run into at the beginning of the Dark Forest, or the Forest of Death. They have this moment where she remembers some of the stuff from the past, and then she just has that realization that he's back. And because she ends up finding the dead Jonin, So
No,
she has
it's 3 Genin.
Genin. Sorry, yeah, 3 Genin. The ones
Yeah.
that they took, they all have no faces.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where she remembers that Orochimaru is back. Orochimaru just put the curse mark on Sasuke at this point, and then Naruto shows up. He used his multi-shadow clone jutsu to make the snake explode. Which,
In the process of all of the snake stuff too, Orochimaru hits Naruto with a 5-prong seal or 5-element seal.
correct, yeah, that once Naruto comes back, the female, which you learned later on is Orochimaru.
Yeah, let's just call him
yeah,
Just call him
Orochimaru.
Orochimaru
Just
at
call
this
him
point.
Orochimaru.
I screwed it up, so
Yeah, so Orochimaru ends up using his like crazy appendible tongue to pick up Naruto, hold him in place, and then come up and 5-prong seal him because he brought out the seal of the seal that is stopping the nine-tailed fox from getting out of Naruto himself, and then he adds the 5-prong seal to it, which actually has way more effects than we thought it did originally. You know, it sealed. It didn't just necessarily seal the chakra of the Nine Tails. It also did more. It actually stopped Naruto's chakra control as well.
it disrupted the flow
Correct.
of the chakra of the Nine-Tail.
Correct, but it also just naturally affected Naruto's as well.
Well, it's because he's
So-
been used to having the leaked out Nine-Tails
Correct.
chakra.
Because the initial seal that's on him is meant to release the fox's chakra
Slowly.
that he can, so Naruto can use it, but it's not going to affect him unless he's like enraged.
Right.
Which I don't remember if we see here I don't think we see that yet in the Chunin exams. I think we see it later on for the first time.
We see him use his chakra cloak later in the tuning exams, but like that's it. Not chakra cloak. It's just he's leaking out. It's leaking out.
But yeah, so with what is it, Anko? Yeah, she sees the three dead Genin, recognizes them, and then heads into the forest to try and stop the exams. In that process, Orochimaru decides to like activate her curse, which we find out then, which you had said earlier that she is.
She was
bitten
experimented on
by Orochimaru.
Yep. Which how emotional is that point too, where Anko is actually going to use a forbidden jutsu after pinning Orochimaru to the tree, and was going to kill herself and him, and then he just did a substitution jutsu to just get out of it.
I felt for her in that part because it's like that person who basically almost ruined your life is right here, and you try to take it, and he's just like, nope, Uno reverse card.
Right. It's actually insane, which I had to take a long time and get some information from other people to really fully understand Orochimaru isn't just a psychopath. Like he actually has a lot of direction. He's not just chasing cars.
Right.
I like that comparison. That's funny.
I mean, it's that. What other way can you put it at this point? It just seems like he's out to just cause mass chaos and just destroy the leaf field.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
like,
you don't find out all this stuff till much later, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like just from like a perspective of like somebody who's watched the show, it's just like, oh, he's just a fucking crazy madman. He just wants to kill the people.
It's how it feels for most of the time.
Correct. So there, just for anybody who hasn't seen it, like the show does have a lot of like long cons, a lot of long plays that like you really, it's not to the level of One Piece where you find out about somebody one time and then 15 years later you meet that person.
Right.
But there
If
is a
only you
lot
actually knew.
but there is a lot of depth to the show to where you'll hear about something once and then you won't hear or see anything about it for a long time, and then the callback is kind of cool whenever they do it.
I wouldn't know. I've never watched One Piece.
I haven't
Neither is
either.
Nick. That's what I'm saying. If you only really knew what you were saying.
I mean, I understand it because I mean, I do have friends who are completely caught up on it. Talk to them about it. So, but going back to the intended channel, back from our commercial break, we see that Anko doesn't actually die. Thankfully, she gets taken to medical, and she ends up getting healed up after this whole issue happens. And Squad 7 actually ends up running into a problem where Sasuke is unconscious, Naruto's unconscious, and Sakura actually needs to protect them.
Oh, she steps up too.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She takes on...
This is where you see the first turning point of Sakura in the entire show.
Oh, absolutely.
And I like that we saw it very early on from her and not, like, in another 2 seasons, she's finally like, I'm now stronger. Like, this is her first big point of not being the useless little kunoichi and just being a ninja.
I would agree with that 100%.
I don't like the haircut thing, but whatever.
But I mean, you think about it in other TV shows and stuff, the haircut is a changing of the personality.
Right, but I don't like the trope. I just never have, never will.
They could have done worse things with her. At least her
absolutely.
cutting her hair a little bit shorter, like, made her a bit more useful.
I mean, she ends up having to cut it all off. Well, not all of it, but having
Not
to...
all of it, most of it.
She didn't have to. She could have literally stuck the kunai in the dude's foot. He would
I
have
mean,
let go.
it wasn't a dude that had her.
Are you saying that women can't be dudes?
No.
I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude. We're all dudes.
We're all dudes, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Welcome to Good
Anywho.
Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Yes,
Oh my
sir.
God.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put it that way. But you knew what I meant.
I know. I know. It was
Sassy. You sassy bastards.
We see we have this moment where Sasuke just wakes up and realizes that Sakura is just in danger. And you see that full, like, the full power of that curse mark starting to kind of come forward. Obviously, he doesn't know much about it yet and doesn't really know how to utilize it, but that power just emanates from him and wakes him up.
We do also see another ninja come into play here, just before Sasuke wakes up.
I think the whole team shows up, but yeah.
Rock Lee comes out of frickin' nowhere and just starts fighting the 3 ninja from, what is it?
Sound Village.
Team Dosu from the Sound Village. And he's just going to town on him as best he can.
It's because Rock Lee would do anything for Sakura.
Oh yeah.
Screw Sasuke.
She is bae. But we see there's a moment where Sasuke, once he wakes up and realizes that Sakura's been in trouble, he destroys the Sound Village ninja. Just absolutely wrecks them, breaks the one dude's arms.
His power though, like that guy he broke the arms on, like his Naruto or his ninja stuff was absolutely cool though. So me being an audio guy, like I find them really, really interesting. Because his because he's the one that had like the arm things,
The
right?
holes,
that, like, the holes where he could like make people's ears bleed and stuff with it. Yeah, his was really cool. That'd be something if I was in the ninja world. That'd be something I would want. That'd be.
I mean, you
use
could
my chakra to
ultimately
control
incapacitate
audio.
somebody. You could make their organs vibrate inside of them.
You kill somebody just by moving their heart a little bit.
It's actually kind of crazy to think about. Which that little bit is going to come into play during the 3rd section of the exam of his arms being just absolutely ripped apart.
By Mr. Broken.
Right. During this few little bits, you know, Sasuke ends up having issues, Naruto's having issues, Sakura has been defending them, they end up working with Kabuto once they've woken up because they both are struggling really bad with, a fever and everything else. Kabuto ends up coming and helping out, and they end up fighting their way towards the center tower because they realize that any teams at this point that are left are either going to make their way towards the tower or they're going to be like scattered around it. Because really, they don't tell you how many scrolls you're allowed to have. They just said you have to acquire them.
One of each. Yeah.
Yep. Which they do tell you to not look in the scroll until you have both of them.
Right.
And one of the funniest parts that happens in this show is the one random team. I don't remember who it was, but it was just a random team of 3 people. And they're like, no, you're not supposed to open it. Because Naruto almost opens it himself.
Yep. Well, him and Sakura end up almost opening it.
I thought it was Sakura that stopped him.
She did, but they both wanted him to open it.
Yeah, you see the one team, they open it, and then, what was it, a ninja pops out, knocks him out, and if I remember right, because it's like a summoning jutsu.
It's a sleep jutsu. So they end up fighting their way towards the center tower, and at this point, Kabuto already has both scrolls himself. So all he's doing at this point is just helping Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. That's all he's doing is helping them at this point. So they end up getting their 3rd scroll and meet at the tower, and then they get cleared to go to a little section, and they're told to open both of their scrolls. And Kakashi shows up. He gets summoned in the scroll.
Was it Kakashi? I thought it was Iruka.
You're right. It is Iruka.
Yeah, Iruka Sensei.
Yeah. Iruka Sensei, take us out for ramen.
I'm going to say that next time we're at work, Nick.
Nice.
I want ramen.
I had that for breakfast.
Nice.
Cultural Sensei, will you take us out for ramen?
Yes.
Anyway, they talk to Iruka, and after talking to Iruka, I'm pretty sure they head into the prelims for the final fights.
Yeah. That was one of the things that got brought up because Iruka, during the questioning of whether or not the squads were ready for the Chunin exams, Iruka actually steps in and is like, oh, I am the one who trained them all. I know what they're capable of. None of them are ready for this. And Kakashi actually puts a foot down on this one and says, they're not your students anymore. They're mine. And that's a big moment for Iruka where he almost realizes that Kakashi seems out of line, but at the same time they could have gotten so much better since he taught them.
I really like Iruka. He's one of my favorite characters.
He always has super honorable intent. But he ends up
there for Naruto.
But because of his interruption to this meeting, they end up deciding to have a preliminary during the third event. Just because
too many people made it.
Well, that too.
And we see some awesome fights during this.
Yeah.
Oh, the most talked about fight in all of Naruto, basically, except for maybe a couple. That they end up having.
Let's go through the not cool ones first.
The ones that take 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you have a list, Jay-Z?
Tamari and Tenten.
I mean, I have a list of all the fights, but I didn't put them in any order. But Tamari and Tenten, what a dumb fight. Tamari is very strong. Bad matchup for Tenten. Tenten is also.
Once you see all 3 moons,
strongish.
You know it's over.
Oh, I remember in this too. Just before things start, Kabuto bows out. He's like, "Yep, I'm tired. I'm out of here."
So does Kankuro.
Which I'm pretty sure you find out. No, Kankuro does not.
No, I was say Kankuro
fights.
No, he doesn't.
Because he's in the
yes,
finals.
Yes, he does. Kankuro fights, bro.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He bows out.
He fights Mizumi Tsurugi, which is one of Kabuto's team members. He bows out after the prelims, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't bow out before the prelims.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking like during like the finals, he bows out.
Well, yeah, but we're talking prelims right now.
Because he's supposed to, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to fight Shino, right?
And he's supposed to fight Shino, and he backs out because of problems.
Because of the next arc.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is there any? The Naruto Kiba fight was absolutely insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It's another point for Naruto being super good at transformation jutsu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, during this I've always loved Kiba and Akamaru. Like, I don't know why, but they're just like such a cool combination to me.
Kiba's okay. Akamaru's where it's at though.
Oh yeah, dude. Akamaru's awesome. I just want to pet his little head.
Uh-huh.
But the fang over fang jutsu and the pills, the food pills, everyone starts freaking out about it, thinking that it's, illegal that he's using it, and they're like, no, the ninja tool. It's something you're allowed to use. Which, if you think about it, think about how gnarly this society must be for it's like, all right, so we're going to give all of our 7-year-olds a bunch of very sharp objects that they get to throw at each other, and if you die, you just sucked at what you were supposed to do.
Well, yeah, well, here's the thing about this, their culture and everything. They actually teach them how to use these things so that they're not just hurting each other and hurting themselves.
Mm-hmm. I'd say I'd have loved to use kunai from the age of like 5.
Yeah, but you need someone to teach you how to use them. And they know how to use them right now.
True,
Anyway.
but still, it would have been cool.
Anyway, Choji's match was over pretty quick, but that's because Choji screwed up. Choji has a very limited repertoire at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
He just kind of rolls. Whatever.
Sasuke's first match.
Sasuke's opponent was strong. It was just a straight out fight, though.
Yeah.
But that's where we first... Isn't that where we see the Lion's Barrage first?
No,
Because
Yeah.
the lion. Yeah, it says he used the lion combo.
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
Which he mimicked off of Rock Lee from their fight, that their little skirmish that they have right before the written exam.
Mm-hmm.
He copies the
because
primary Lotus.
crushed him.
Front Lotus.
Front Lotus.
It's primary. It's primary Lotus.
He used the lion combo as a partial copy of Rock Lee's Front Lotus, which had been captured by Sasuke Sharingan.
Oh, okay, yeah. The front Lotus is the barrage part, but the
Yes.
primary Lotus is him falling to the ground with him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Which then in turn Naruto copies and turns it into the Uzumaki Barrage, which I guessed early on. I thought he used that as there. He uses he kicks.
It's the same thing. He just doesn't name it till later.
Yeah. Who else we got?
Shino's match against the dude with the holes in his arms.
Oh, dude. Freaky.
Yeah.
Bugs, freaky, into
just put
holes
the bugs
in hands.
in the holes and then they blow up. Yep.
Well, whenever you have a horde of chakra-hungry bugs behind you, and you have a way smarter than you person in front of you, you're kind of just stuck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Conqueror's match, you get to see his puppets, which puppets are creepy.
I mean, Crow is cool
I don't
shit.
find his
puppets are not
puppets
creepy.
that creepy.
His are not creepy, but just the use of puppets are pretty creepy.
Oh yeah,
but he's
I can agree with that.
He's really good at it. Really, really good at it.
I like the moments where you see him actually making like alterations to Crow.
Yeah.
Next match then would have been
Sakura
and Ino, which
I hated this match, but it was a good match.
So boring. Just seeing them just punch each other just got so boring.
It helped them get over certain things. It was really good for character development, but I hated it.
Yeah. Because then there was after that was Tenten and Tamari.
Tenten, Tamari, super quick.
We talked about next one is Shikamaru and
Kinsuchi.
Kinsuchi.
But it's Shikamaru. He's freaking genius in his shadow possession.
His shadow possession is hands down one of the strongest ninjutsus to be used in this show. Period.
Period.
Like, I mean, him, and I'll be honest, like, Ino and Sakura's fight was absolutely dumb, in my opinion. But Ino's mind transformation with Shikamaru's shadow, I just talked about it. Shadow possession.
Yeah, shadow possession.
Those two together are like an unstoppable force if used in the right combination. Those are two powers that are just absolutely overpowered for no reason, but they work so well.
Shadow possession's weakness is if the person they're trying to grab is way stronger than them, it's not going to work. Like, it'll grab them, but
because he only has so much reach.
Yeah, that too. Well, it needs to be in the sun, or there's no shadows.
True, but he can still pull shadows from the dark.
It's true.
Yeah, if he's standing within a shadow,
but it has to be his shadow that he controls to get to the other shadow, though. So if he's not casting a shadow, he can't really do it.
Well, if he's standing like in a tree under a shadow, he can use the tree shadow to control it, and he gets a bit more of a reach out of it.
Oh yeah, because he's adding his shadow to it. Yeah.
Exactly.
You see him use that. You see him use that technique a little bit later.
Oh, okay. Second most important, I think, match of this round is the Hinata versus Neji.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. This is really where you see a lot of their family bad blood come out.
And
because Neji wants to hate Hinata, or he does at this point.
Yeah, because I can't remember if they exactly explain it, but she's main branch, he's side branch.
Yeah. Yeah, he takes his headband off, and they show the mark on his head.
Did they show the mark in this early on?
I don't remember.
They do.
I thought that didn't. No, that doesn't get shown until the finals. Until the final exams in here, they don't show that.
Oh yeah, because I think Naruto knocks it off or something.
Naruto knocks it off of him, because Neji ends up beating Naruto. I'm pretty sure, in the end. No.
Naruto wins that fight, bro.
Oh, okay, I couldn't remember. But no, you don't see the mark until the finals, which we'll talk about that later. I think that's going to be next episode.
No, I mean, we'll get there here. We're almost there.
We're at 55.
Yeah, we're almost there. There's only one more fight after this one in this prelim, and then there's only like 5 fights. Or no, there's not even 5 fights. There's like 3 fights in the finals.
True. But yeah, in this fight with Neji and Hinata, you see their similar fighting styles against each other, because they both have the same technique. They both have Byakugan,
and they both use Gentle Fist.
Exactly, but in very different ways.
But
where
Neji's a master already, and he knows all of the
correct
8 trigrams, 64 palms, and all that stuff.
Yes. Which again, going to the one Naruto game, was my favorite thing on the Wii, because you had the Wii remote and the nunchuck, and to do the 64 or 8 palms, you had to keep going. You had to keep like shaking both of them at the same time, and you had to do them so fast to get all of it, which I think was like 128 palms. And if you didn't shake it fast enough, you didn't get all the way, because we always challenged ourselves to get it.
Right. And then but Neji's just so much stronger, and he almost gets to the point where he could kill her, and all the proctor, the team leaders actually step in
because he was going to kill her.
Yeah, he was going to.
Like, he was not going to stop. He was going to. And then the final
and then the big fight of the prelims.
Best fight of the whole thing, Gaara against Rock Lee, where Gaara ends up winning the fight, which is very, very not surprising. I mean, we all watched that.
Strong.
We knew he was going to win that, but watching Rock Lee just go to town on him,
I think shedding a couple of pounds is going to help you against Gaara.
I was just about to say, especially
it's the coolest thing ever.
So I saw a thing one time where they were talking about what weight was that he dropped.
It'd have to be massive.
Someone said he dropped, I think, anywhere between 100 to 200 pounds per leg off of that he dropped.
Because those things, like, went into the ground, so they had to weigh a lot.
Yeah, like that's. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's gonna be a tank later on. But you see him breaking through Gaara's sand armor and the sand, just working his way through the sand clones. He's the
just
first
hitting
person
him faster than the sand could reshape.
Exactly. He's the first person who was able to crack the sand armor. Like, of everybody in that time with Gaara, he's the first one to have been able to do it.
Which also, they have a little bit of insight into Conqueror's brain during this fight, where he says that the fact that Gaara is using that is bad. Because that means that Gaara is actually starting to feel like he's gonna get hurt. Correct.
Yeah.
Because he has an armor. He has the sand armor on all the time, anyways.
Yeah.
Which is again talked about later. Just the sand just like naturally sticks to him, but to break through it and see his actual skin, like never happens. And it gets thick. The armor gets thicker when he goes into battle, and especially if he's like, I'm gonna get hurt, the armor thickens.
Well, and on top of it, the amount of chakra it takes to hold it in place and repair it is very draining on him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he's got lots of chakra for the same reason Naruto does.
Well,
Yes.
Well, not the same reason, because Naruto alone would have a lot more chakra, but...
Then the final fight we covered just slightly, Choji against Dosu.
Yeah.
Which Choji came out on top because he used... Dosu
Choji lost.
Choji.
Choji beat
That's
himself,
right.
basically.
Yeah. Which I was a little sad because I do like Choji, but he's not the strongest right now. He gets way better on later on in the show during the during I think 2 arcs away.
Yeah. Next arc is two. Yeah, there's 2 in between.
Yeah.
Next is Konoha Crush, and then
during the hunt is when Choji really gets strong.
yeah.
So yeah, now moving into the finals though, we see a lot of really good fight techniques. We see a lot of new genjutsus, or not genjutsus, ninjutsus. And we see actual power coming out from every single opponent, where it seemed like things were slightly being held back during the prelims. First fight being
Shikamaru and
Tamari,
yeah.
which actually, hold up on that. So one thing too that happens,
they all get time to train.
They all get time to train a little bit, which we meet Jiraiya, the pervy sage, who is hands down one of my favorite characters.
Yep.
And you're gonna hear me say that a lot because I love everybody in this show almost, but like
Jiraiya's one
Jiraiya
of the
just
best, period,
cracks
though.
me up because
I
he
love
shows
Jiraiya.
up and he's trying to teach Naruto how to control walking on water, and he can't do it. He like starts to, and he breaks through the water every single time. In the process of that, like Jiraiya realizes that the 5-point seal or the 5-element seal is disrupting the flow, and he just like punches him, and Naruto's like, "What'd you do that for?" Not realizing that he had another seal on him, and then all of a sudden he can do it no issue. It's just one of those like, Jiraiya is so ungodly smart, even though he seems like an idiot.
Well, that's because he was trained by the professor.
He was trained by the Hokage.
Yeah, one of his nicknames is the professor.
Oh, okay.
Because
I actually didn't know that.
he knows like every jutsu.
Gotcha.
Every hidden leaf jutsu ever created, he knows it.
I can't remember. I don't think... Did Jiraiya teach Naruto the...
Rasengan? Not yet.
Yeah, not yet? Okay, I didn't think so.
I don't think yet. I don't think so.
I don't believe he did. But yeah, first match going into this, after he gets unsealed...
Actually,
and,
no, he did. He did teach him Rasengan. He did.
Did you look it up, or are you just remembering?
This thing says jutsus used in the fight. Rasengan's one of them, so he did teach him.
Okay. Yeah, so he learns how to do Rasengan in the process, and then we lead into the fight.
Sasuke also goes and trains with Kakashi.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically learns the Rasengan as well, if you know what you know.
Sasuke does?
Yeah, so the Chidori.
Oh, yeah.
The Chidori is a broken down Rasengan. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
Kakashi invented it by trying to add lightning to the Rasengan. So technically, both of their teachers teach him the Rasengan.
Okay, that I did not know. That's actually quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought it was really cool when I found out the Chidori's secondary name, Thousand Birds of Death or something like that. That extremely loud noise that Jay-Z's just played in our ears on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Ow. But yeah, first fight we got Naruto and Neji just beating the hell out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time, so Naruto knocks Neji's headband off, like we had mentioned earlier. We see the mark of the secondary family, and we learn for the most part about why Neji had fought so hard against Hinata and was like trying to kill her during the prelims. Yeah. In the process of the fight and everything, the Nine-Tailed Fox starts to show itself. He doesn't get covered in the cloak, I think. He just starts showing... No, it just
leaks out a little bit.
Yeah, it leaks out, and he can use that chakra more and more for more power. Mm-hmm. And he ends up defeating Neji in the end.
He doesn't use the chakra to beat him. He just outmaneuvers him. He tunnels under the ground and then uppercuts out of the ground.
But in that fight, Neji learns to respect Naruto, and they become great friends.
Yeah.
And it's just, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna go into the Hyuga stuff, but if you want to continue with the fight.
Yeah, I figure we'll save the Hyuga stuff for when it comes up again later.
I'm pretty sure right after this fight, Hinata's dad comes and talks to Neji and tells him the truth. Mm-hmm.
Which I'll let you cover that here, because the fight. At this point the fight's over. It's just
the fight's over. Naruto wins.
Neji becomes friends or realizes that Naruto's actually a good person and not just a rival. Like even though you're on different teams, you have to work together.
Well, he didn't see him as a rival before this. He saw him as lesser. Mm-hmm. But now he sees him as a rival.
But a friend at the same time.
Right. So Neji hates the main branch because he believes his father was ordered to die. So what happened is another village wanted Hinata's dad, who was the head of the family. They wanted him for something, and it was something they had to give up. But Neji's dad actually loves his brother and said he would give up his own life if it meant the head of the family would get to stay and, all that stuff. So Neji's father chose to die. He wasn't ordered to die. Mm-hmm. So then after that, Neji's whole personality basically changes after that. Mm-hmm. He's not a rage monster anymore.
He's just super overpowered.
Yeah.
I love I agree with you, but I disagree with that at the same time. I know that sigh. Mm-hmm. Moving on to second match was Sasuke and Gaara, which that was the
last match, wasn't it?
That was the last match.
No, it says the second match, which featured Sasuke versus Gaara.
So Naruto won against Neji. Shino won.
No, it couldn't be because the match was interrupted whenever the Konoha Crush starts, basically. So it couldn't have been the last.
Yeah, that's... Gaara starts to lose control and then the bombs go off.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. This states what happens. Mm-hmm. Sasuke hadn't arrived yet.
Normally it was supposed to be the second match. They moved.
That's what I was getting to, and you both cut me off too early.
I'm sorry.
God damn it!
I'm sorry.
It was still an insane fight later on, but the crowd had mostly come to see him fight, forcing Hokage to give in to the Kazekage's request to postpone the match. Third match was Shino and Kankuro. Was given to Shino on default because Kankuro forfeited. Ta-da! Fourth match then was Tamari and Shikamaru, which we mentioned earlier about Shikamaru with his shadow possession jutsu. Yeah. How smartly he used that, because Tamari realized how far he could reach.
Oh yeah, and he got her, but he ran out of steam and gave up.
Yeah.
So he loses that match, which is hilarious because he's the only one who becomes a Chunin.
True. But how he gets to her, I found really cool, because that shows his thought process on the battlefield of what can I use to my disposal. It's obviously we know Adam Savage from Mythbusters, and his book, Every Tool is a Hammer. like his autobiography, and I love that saying because Shikamaru lives that saying: is everything is a ninja tool. Like,
Yeah.
he used his shirt and a kunai to give himself an extra 6-inch circle of shadow he needed to be able to reach her. Like, that's not something that Naruto or even Sasuke is gonna think of.
Correct.
You got to have a good strategist like Shikamaru who's gonna pull that off.
The best strategist.
Exactly. So after that happens,
then we get to the fight.
Then we get to the fight of Gaara and Sasuke, and this insane, powerful fight going on between them. Mm-hmm. And Sasuke brings out the Chidori, and he's going after Gaara, and it's, dude, that fight is just so intense for no reason, and I absolutely freaking love it. Mm-hmm. So Sasuke, I believe, also starts to break through the...
Sasuke makes him bleed,
sand.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he breaks through the sand armor, and I'm pretty sure causes him to bleed.
That's when he freaks out, because he just keeps screaming blood, because he hasn't seen his own blood ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is where he has like that major epiphany, because he's made so many other people bleed.
Right.
And all of that blood is soaked into his sand.
Yep.
Like, that's freakily, it's disgusting, but it's at the same time like so respectable. I love it.
Mm-hmm. But Sasuke was able to do that because of the upgraded speed and strength he got from learning the Chidori.
Correct. Which is also just one-on-one training with Kakashi made him that much stronger.
I wish he would realize he could just keep doing that.
Yeah.
But
no. just as Sasuke, I'm pretty sure, is going to get close to either winning the match or
maybe
before. I'm saying both sides. Or Gaara's going to absolutely wreck him, which we don't know because the match never ended.
Well, to be fair, if Gaara wins in the end, it would not be because of Gaara. It would be because of Shikaku.
True.
So, Gaara v Sasuke, Sasuke wins.
Yes. At least at this point, Shikaku would have been the reason Gaara won.
Right.
But I feel later on, again, spoilers.
Keep it in.
Yes, ship it in.
Or even, honestly, even later, earlier.
Yeah, when Gaara
just
has
in
control
Naruto.
of... When Gaara learns control of Shikaku, I still think it would be... I think it would be close, but I still think Gaara would win.
I do too.
Anyway, but smoke bombs go off and knock everybody out in the crowd.
Don't they do it like a massive genjutsu?
Yeah, it was a... This is when you find out that Kabuto is actually working for Orochimaru because
who is posing as the Sand Kazekage, or the... Was it?
Orochimaru is posing as the Kazekage.
Yeah, Kazekage, yeah.
But yeah, the smoke bomb goes off, Kabuto comes out, puts everybody to sleep, and then the next arc begins.
Yep.
Which I believe we are saving.
We're gonna end this arc there, but we'll do Konoha Crush next. But this arc had a lot of really good fights. I think my favorite is always gonna be the Rock Lee Gaara fight, just because I love Rock Lee, because I also love Gai Sensei, and we'll see a lot more Gai Sensei later. Mm-hmm. Much later.
But this arc is one of my favorites, just because we finally meet everybody else.
But yeah, we meet a lot more people. Yeah.
Now, again, when you first watch this show, it's hard to keep up with who everybody is, but the more you watch it, you figure people out because some characters are more important than the others. Mm-hmm. But you see some that stick around for the long haul, and you see how much stronger they
Pretty
get.
much all four of these teams from Konoha, you see a lot here forward.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think that's gonna call it for today.
I mean, we could talk about like who's your favorite character right now. At this point.
At this point, that's a tough one. Nick, who do you got as your favorite character? I need a moment to think about this.
Favorite character? I mean, I will always say that Shino is going to be one of my favorite characters throughout the entire series. I mean, his power is just nuts. His intelligence is crazy. I also love the fact that, during the interruption, he actually gets kind of like irritated about the fact that he does not get to have his match with Kankuro. Like, actually is upset with like, hey, I didn't get to beat him. He has, for Jay-Z, he's got that ego.
You got that ego, baby.
You got that ego, baby. I'm so excited, man. He's got that ego. And he could back it up. You know what I mean? It literally is. He is a character that personifies everything that a ninja should be, from a noble class who is basically just that complete package.
Mine is.
I agree with that.
Mine's a toss-up between Mr. Lazy Genius and Mr. Only Can Use freaking Taijutsu. They're the exact opposites. Yeah, Rock Lee or Shikamaru. They're the exact opposites of each other, but because of that, I love them both. It's hard to say which one is my favorite. Probably Shikamaru, just because.
I think I'm gonna agree with you. Right now, it's Shikamaru. Because again, in the fight with Tamari, you see how smart he is as a strategist. But I just love him where he's like, man, everything sucks. It's such a drag. I don't care. But yet he's the smartest one, at least strategy-wise, of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Naruto's got power. Sasuke's got power. Hinata and Neji both have power. But Shikamaru thinks through every step of the fight before it even happens.
Right. Neji's probably up there in smarts, too. But tactically smart, nobody beats Shikamaru. Not even his
That's
father.
what I'm getting at, is tactically. So.
All right. That's it. That's it for this one.
Appreciate all those who decided to stop by. Yeah, we got some very exciting new stuff coming up. Very, very excited to let those egos fly.
Heck yeah.
All right, boys. You have a good one. Thanks for joining us. Peace out.
Laters.